You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZWLP Conroe and 106.1 KZCCLP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Howdy, and welcome to the Extension Hour. This is Yvonne Welther, and I am your host today for the Extension Hour on Lone Star Community Radio. That's FM 104.5 and 106.1. And we welcome you to our show where we have a fantastic subject to talk about today. But first of all, I would like to introduce Miss Amy Ressler, and she will be making our announcements today.
Hey, it's always good to be here. Sometimes I'm the host, sometimes I'm the sidekick, sometimes I'm the fly, sometimes I'm the windshield, or the bug, whatever. So yeah, we're really excited to be here. You know, every extension hour, they're going to hear somebody different probably because we take turns doing it. So if you're like, what? Who are these people? So every week there'll be someone different. So today it's Yvonne and I'm the sidekick. And then actually next week we're going to take a break since it's Good Friday. And then the week after that, I'll be back. And maybe Yvonne will be the sidekick, and then we'll have someone guest with us then. And then the week after that, we'll have Mike Heimer. He'll be here talking about his agriculture stuff. I think he calls his agricultural toolbox.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, but we do want to make announcements, things that are happening, going on. Our Master Gardeners, they're a pretty awesome group. They do some really amazing things. And tomorrow on April 8th, they're going to host a class, and it's this one is herb gardening for the everyday gardener. So it's from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. There's a $5 charge for this class, but they'll talk about the best herbs for your garden, your landscape, your butterflies, your birds, and your kitchen. The presenters will focus on the numerous varieties used in these areas of herbs in Montgomery County with both large and small gardens. So they also say expect some surprises and some treats from these herb-loving.
Are they going to make like a treat? I mean, what, like an herb cookie or something like that?
I don't know.
Illegal herb
they might.
cookie?
You know, those master gardeners. They're good cooks.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it could be food. Could be something else. I don't know. You have to go to find out.
This is the grown-up Happy Meal.
Yes. Herbs make you happy.
Yeah.
So if you want to find out more about this, you can call the extension office. 936-539-7824 is one of our numbers, and that'll get you there. And then also the Master Gardeners have their own website. So www.mcmga for Montgomery County Master Gardener Association. Nice the way that works out. So mcmga.com, and they've got all kinds of information on that. So just let them know that you're coming, and they'll save a seat for you.
Awesome.
And then again in May, they'll have their open garden day. And that's kind of like an open house, but it's an open garden. And that is a great time to just kind of get to know master gardeners, get to know the plants that grow well here in Montgomery County. And actually, we'll be there too, so you can get to know us. And we may have food.
Yeah, we'll have a surprise. We won't say what it is. We want you to show up and find out for yourself.
We will say what they say. Expect some surprises and treats.
Yes, and good treats too.
Yep. So that's May 20th. And that's also a Saturday, and that's 9 a.m. till noon.
And how much is that event?
Come and go. Now, that one's free.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Just bring the family, bring the kids.
That's right. Come and go and check things out.
Wonderful.
So, yeah, and then, of course, in Family Consumer Sciences, we have some stuff going on. So I do some classes at the Academy for Lifelong Learning in New Caney and in Montgomery, and both of them. And so on Monday, we're going to be talking about canning. And then we're doing a Families Reading Everyday project. We do that at the local Head Starts, and we're going to do one at Hauser Elementary. And so we have that scheduled to kick off on April 12th. So we're pretty excited about that.
Awesome.
So yeah, and then the other thing that I wanted to mention, a cooking class, if you're interested. This is open to the public on Tuesday, April 18th, and it will be at the South Library, so the one in the Woodlands. Anybody who wants to can sign up, 5:30 to 7:30.
And call us. You can call us at 936-539-7825 if you want more information.
Yep, definitely. Or you can call the library.
Or the library. Yep. Wonderful.
Sign up there. And I got to talk about Walk Across Texas.
Yes, definitely.
This is Walk Across Texas. Lots of fun. We want everybody to sign up. We need everybody in Montgomery County to sign up.
Now, what's the cost of this program?
This one is free.
What?
Totally free. Super easy. We like free things.
We're amazing.
So, yeah,
Wow.
we are, if we do say so ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But walk. So it's called Walk Across Texas, but that doesn't mean like you're literally walking across Texas. It's kind of, you just do physical activity to accumulate miles that equal the distance across Texas, but you don't have to do it by yourself. You can do it in a team of 8. And so the teams of 8 can compete against each other.
It wouldn't be the same if we walked across Idaho or Missouri. Texas is a more of a larger state, so it requires more footsteps to get across.
That's right.
So that's why it's Walk Across Texas.
Yes, 830
And we live
miles.
in Texas.
We do, yeah. It works out
I think we
nicely
do.
that way today. So it's an online thing. So it's easy to sign up. You just get your team of 8, you sign up, you enter your miles each week, and then we're able to track it, see who's walking. You can actually look at your team and where they are on a map of Texas. And the other thing, we have prizes.
What?
Yep. So we have these cool incentive cards. Have you seen these?
Wow, it's like back in the day, it was like the MasterCard gold card, remember? It was like, wow, he has a gold card. Amazing.
That's right. But now you can impress people by being a Walk Across Texas participant. That's
right.
There's 8 different businesses on the back of the card, and you can use those through June 30th. So lots of opportunities, some healthy options. Some of them have not so healthy options. So there's a couple, like Grub Burger is one of them, and Corner Bakery is another one of them. And sometimes people are like, yeah, that's not a healthy place.
But sometimes, I mean, we're people and we're humans, right? I think so.
And we live in Texas.
So I'm thinking, every once in a while, I like to treat my family for out food. And it's a wonderful thing when the restaurant has options where they are considered light, or they come with a salad side instead of fries.
Sure.
And I think these locations offer that options.
And they're really transparent about the ingredients that are in their food, the calories that are in their food, so you can make informed decisions.
Yeah.
So we like that a lot.
That's right.
There's also what is it for Rainbow Roller Rink?
Yeah, the roller rink. That's right. That's the one over in Conroe, behind the office. Oh my goodness, we had so much fun there.
That's right. So if you
Yeah.
don't want to walk across Texas, you can skate across Texas.
That's right. A roller derby across Texas. That's right. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. And that concludes our announcements. And today, again, my name is Yvonne Welther. I'm your Better Living for Texans Extension Assistant for Montgomery County, one of 2. And today we have a very special guest with us. And oh my gosh, I was reading this gentleman's CVs or history and accomplishments, and I was hearing the Superman music, intro music in the background. Dun, da, da, dun, da, da, da. I'm not good at music, but this gentleman is a professor of medicine and medical ethics, visiting at the Center of Medical Ethics and Health Policy at Baylor College of Medicine in Houston. He is retired from the U.S. Navy Medical Corps, Lieutenant Commander, 2nd Marine Division. He is a professor emeritus. He is a cardiac surgeon. He is Superman. Superman.
Would you talk to my wife, please?
Tell her.
Yeah. Just keep you grounded, huh? But you also do. You're a researcher. You're a scuba diving instructor. This is Dr. Jim Jones, or James Wilson Jones, but we like to call him Doc Jim. So what's up, Doc?
Well, everything is up, and the main thing is that what we want to do is to tell people how they can live better lives, because success is the number of people you can help.
Exactly. And who doesn't want to live a better life?
Right, a quality life. And we're going to be going over a term that not a lot of people might be familiar with. I mean, you've heard of literacy, and that's the ability to read. And there's illiteracy, where you may have the ability to read, but you just can't. But now, how about health literacy? What does that mean, Doc?
Well, health literacy is very important. It is the foundational aspect of living a better life. And studies have been done, national studies, that show that 50% of people in America are health illiterate. And if you call someone illiterate,
Wow.
it means that they don't know something important to a minimum standard.
Right.
And
Wow.
the study was done that showed that women didn't even know when to get pap smears or whether they should, and so forth. It was basic. The real health literacy has to do with how you treat your body.
That's right. And I was reading some about this on a government website, I think health.gov, and they had said that very thing that you had mentioned with people not knowing enough, and then that makes them get into a whole lot of trouble because it makes a difference in their mortality and their morbidity, from what I understand. How much of a difference does it make when you do know what to do?
Well, first of all, your healthcare costs diminish significantly. Your emergency room visits diminish significantly, and your overall death rate diminishes significantly. And that's just with long-term studies, primarily in England, that showed that if you didn't know what to do, with your bank account, imagine the problems you'd have if you couldn't balance your checkbook.
Right. But somehow people react more to checkbook than they do to their own personal
Well,
self.
you know what? There's called the long-term philosophical significant reason, the law of significant reason. In other words, everything has a reason for happening.
Right.
And we apply that very simple thing to everything in our lives except our body.
Wow, that's true. I used to work at a hospital. I have parents, and I tell them, I don't want you all to end up like the folks at the hospital. And could you maybe do something to change up? And they just said, not me. That's not going to happen to me. It's, I do believe they believe in this philosophy and they live it, and it's not always the best thing. And I know a lot of it is, do people not realize that this is actually happening? That do they feel sick, or do they feel so good that they believe they're not sick?
Well,
I mean,
if you have a swimming pool and what is the one essential thing in the swimming pool that you have?
water.
Water.
Right.
And
So you can
when
swim.
do you notice that that's the essential thing? I mean, you're focusing on the diving board, you're focusing on everything else. When does the water become essential?
When we're taking a dive off the board and we
Definitely before you
realize
do
You
there's
don't
water.
even you don't even recognize it then. It's when it becomes orange or yellow or something, and you say,
changes
"Oh,
colors,
it's
yeah,
getting."
like,
So
yeah,
that's what we do.
unnatural.
We wait until
It's strange.
our body becomes important when it becomes diseased.
Yeah. Those
Ouch.
aches and pains. It's
When,
definitely
it-
just
when they get
right.
hospitalized, I think is
Yeah.
when they realize, oh, I guess I'm not, something happened, or, I ate that donut I probably shouldn't have. It was that one donut. That's why I feel sick right now. Or I know that's what happened to a lot of people I would visit.
People have paradigms that guide our lives. And the paradigm is that no matter what happens, I'm going to get sick. No matter what I do, I'm going to get sick. And when I do get sick, I want the best medical care to pull me back from the abyss. Now, once you have that, you're free to do anything. And I've had an older man. I was giving a talk, one of these talks, and an older man stood up and said, "I'm 80 years old, and I've smoked all my life, and I like smoking. Why should you tell me to stop?" And I said, "Well, how do you want to die?" I said, "Do you want to just one day exit rapidly, or do you want to linger on, gradually being eaten up by a cancer, having it take all of your finances away?" He came to me a little later and said,
Oh,
I stopped smoking.
Oh, no, he's not. He will stop smoking. All right. Well, we are going to cut to break, but stick around. We'll for more on health literacy with the Texas A&M Extension Hour. You're listening to Lone Star Community Radio.
Did you know your favorite show on Lone Star Community Radio are on social media? Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Instagram, you name it, they're on it. Check out where they are online on irlonestar.com/shows and see which of your favorite hosts are online. Make sure to follow them and see what is in store for the next broadcast. Follow Lone Star Community Radio on Twitter at IRLoneStar or Facebook with facebook.com/IRLoneStar.
Hi, welcome back, and thank you for still listening to us here at Lone Star Community Radio. I am Yvonne Welther, your host today for the Extension Hour, and it is being hosted to you by awesome people today. So what we have is that we have a special guest in the studio with us, and it's Dr. Jim Jones, and we're talking about health literacy and how important it is to really acknowledge how much we don't know. I mean, it's okay. It seems to me that a lot of people, as Doc was saying, they have this philosophy. It's like, well, if it's kind of like laissez-faire, you just can't do that. You can't compromise all you got, which is yourself.
We teach a lot of health classes, and often we do hear that from people. I'm gonna die anyway, so why bother? So I think it has to do with quality of life, is kind of what you were leading into, right?
Well, the quality of life can be extended as well as the length of life.
Sure.
Obviously, extending the length of life without the quality is that. But you do both when you live right.
Yeah.
Because
live longer, live happier.
That's what I want.
Me too.
No, 90 of all the deaths in the United States, 70% are due to what we call chronic illness.
Right.
Now, chronic illnesses are slowly developing illnesses, so they're aging-related illnesses, or even better, living-related illnesses. And so 70% of deaths. But 65 and over, 92% of people and 99% of suffering are due to those diseases, which are all largely preventable.
Mm-hmm. Wow, and that's exactly going back to health literacy and what you just said. This is a connection. I was reading about that on the government website, health.gov, and they said a lot of it, health literacy and spreading the good word depends on the workers. That's what we're here for. As a Better Living for Texans person, our job is to go out and spread the good word, just exactly what you're doing, and inform people, give them information, and make it at a level that they'll understand. I mean, make it so that's realistic, and have them understand and practice what we're trying to teach them.
Right. I mean, you mentioned illiterate, people that are illiterate in terms of their health, and it sounds kind of negative, but a lot of it is they just don't know. Mm-hmm. And so being more aware and learning and knowing can make a huge difference.
Yeah, you can live longer.
Yeah. I mean, it turns into doing as well. I mean, you can know and not do anything.
Right. And that's exactly what Dr. Jones was saying with the motivation. So, this gentleman.
Yeah, we're just not taught those things.
Right.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
It just isn't anywhere that we say this is what we're taught. And medicine, as wonderful as it is not it's not focused on prevention.
Right.
It's focused on taking care of the sick people in the country. Okay. So the non-sick people need to focus on taking care of themselves. It's as simple as that.
Sure.
Yeah, I was reading an article on the American Heart Association where they had a gal who offered classes just like we do, like the Better Living for Texans classes. But I think she had more of a recipe and cook-centered type of lessons. And they interviewed a few people that were in her class. And there's this one gentleman who said, I knew I had to change after I had my stroke that left the left side of my body paralyzed for 3 months. And then I decided I needed a change. And it took that huge event that could have turned horribly for him, but he survived, and he was able to regain movement, and but it doesn't have to come to that. That's what you're trying to tell us. Like, let's not get there.
Well, aging and the development of disease is so slowly incremental that you really don't know it's happening, and changes that reverse things in your body are also incremental. So it's very slow. So if you start smoking cigarettes, you don't start getting increased lung cancer for 20 years. So that's a million cigarettes or more. And what happens is, and I've had people ask me, doctor, and I did heart surgery for 35 years, and I would have people that had heart attacks, and they would say, doctor, why did I have my heart attack just now? Why not a year from now? Why not? And I said, you think about a dirty carburetor. And the dirty carburetor gradually builds up little things so gasoline decreases until at last it's on the verge, and one tiny little speck sticks there, and the carburetor and the car stop. And that's what happened to you. So it's incremental. We need to stop it before it gets to the point where we can't stop it.
That's a good analogy.
That's right. I mean, I had a friend who was also a physician, and he was thinking about changing professions because he said, you know what, Yvonne, I'm just tired of doing this over and over where people come to me ignoring recommendations I have, and then at the end they have a traumatic event happening to their health, and then they want me to, and then they get upset that I can't help them as fast as they would like to. Mm-hmm. And it's just it's not easy to work with that, but
it's easy after you do it.
Yes.
I mean, you think about everything in your life that was difficult, no matter what, whether you wanted to be a football player or whether you wanted to be a ballerina, it didn't happen overnight.
Right.
And then, but then when you got to the point where you were really getting good at it, it was very enjoyable. And the same thing happens with changing your lifestyle. I went back for my 50th anniversary in high school.
Oh, wow.
A few years back.
It was just yesterday.
And I was amazed at the number of people there who had aged at different rates. It was really tremendous. And one guy who I knew who was a star athlete and had then developed a very bad lifestyle, had all kinds of diseases, and looked 20 years older than he should. Mm. And I said, you know what? I'm not doing so bad.
That's always a good testament when you go to those high school reunions and you compare yourself to everybody else. Ay.
That's all high school
Yeah, it's like, I know I'm doing the right thing now because, I look pretty good compared to star athlete. But Doc, what do you recommend as far as health-wise, diet-wise?
Okay. Your diet is one way. You see, right now in aging, you produce aging molecules. Aging is molecular, and there are harmful molecules being produced because your body stays alive by a chemical fire. And the chemical fire, just like real fires, other fires, produces sparks. Mm-hmm. And the sparks are called free radicals. And the free radicals are Bolsheviks that glom onto anything. And they can glom onto something good or bad. The molecular structure determines whether this is coffee or a coffee cup. Right? And your body's structure determines whether it's useful or not useful. So you want to stop those. Now, how you do that is with anti-aging molecules.
Now, how do I get those?
Well, first of all,
can I buy them at a store?
Yeah,
Yes.
in the store with your diet, there's certain kinds of fruits and vegetables that have anti-aging molecules. And otherwise, there's things that you can eat and drink that produce more aging molecules than they should. And it's very important, I think, and that you design it so that you are taking in things that prevent you from being damaged.
Doc, I was listening to one of your lectures that you had, and I had little hearts in my eyes. I said, look at what he just said. I know, look at what he just said. I'm sorry, it's just me. But you had said and emphasized what's been proven with science. In fact, folks, eat your fruits and vegetables, you said. eat your fruits and veggies, and you had also recommended exercise. And what was interesting was you had even mentioned attitude.
All about happiness.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Well, optimistic people do better
Sure.
right.
than pessimistic people. And, you know, the main psychological thing in terms of anti-aging is resilience. And resilience means that you can get knocked down and you still get up.
Right.
And you don't stay knocked down or bent over for the rest of your life. So I mentioned that I think that I had Jewish friends that said their thing was, this too will pass, and then they would just go on.
Sure.
And I said, they got it pretty good.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that I'm hearing it straight from the horse's mouth, or straight from the cardiac surgeon's mouth. And listen, y'all, it's fruits and veggies is what we should be probably loading on our plates more. A lot more, like, I guess, following the USDA's My Plate. You're familiar with that?
Yeah, and probably most reliable diets are going to suggest an increase in fruits and vegetables, that those are going to be the ones that really make the difference.
Well, there's certain ones, and you can get the actual antioxidant content, which is the height of their anti-aging, from websites like WebMD, but mainly, if you have berries, if something says berry on it, it's very high. Every morning, my wife and I have dishes of blueberries and strawberries. Things like mangoes have very little food value.
But not fruit roll-ups.
Not fruit roll-ups. All right, so we are going to take a break, and on the second half, we would love to have you back to listen to the second half of our show. And you're listening to the Extension Hour on Lone Star Community Radio.
You're listening to the Extension Hour with Texas A&M AgriLife. Visit us online at montgomery.agrilife.org.
Want to check out what it's like to be on the radio? Need credit for school? For an internship? Then contact Dick online at dick@irlonestar.com. Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station, and we are here to be part of the community.
Howdy, and welcome back. Thank you for joining us on the second half of the Extension Hour. I am Yvonne Welther, your host for today, your hostess with the mostess. And we have a special guest today. It's Dr. Jim Jones.
Yay.
And Amy Ressler from the County Extension Office, who is joining us. And we are talking about health literacy. In the first segment, we talked about how it's important to understand why it's important to know yourself, your health, and our actions what we do can affect our morbidity and our mortality. And personally, it behooves us to know more. The more you know and practice, the better it is, the longer you'll live. And better, according to Doc, right? We also had mentioned the importance of eating the right fruits and veggies. In other words, what we teach a lot is eat a rainbow of fruits and vegetables, which is what they say contains all the good stuff that we need. I'll just be vague, the good stuff that we need. And we also had talked about over break is how you were mentioning, Doc, that some folks will attribute their bad health to their genetics. Now, how true is that?
Right. No, that is a dangerous fallacy. And that is from the standpoint, they did a study with over 2,800 Danish identical twins. It was over 70 years, which is an extremely long period for a study.
Yeah.
And what they looked at was if one twin did something and the other twin that was environmental and the other twin didn't, they looked at that. And they determined over time, very statistically significantly, that genetics was responsible for healthy longevity in females behavior was responsible in 74% of the time in females and 76% of the time in males. Genetics was very, very insignificant.
So it's environment versus nurture versus nature.
Absolutely.
And nurture.
You're in charge.
Yeah.
You're in charge of your health.
More about what you do than what you are genetically.
Yes, and I hear that a lot when I go out into the community. A lot of them will say, well, I am big boned, or everybody in my family is a certain way, so I'm a certain way. And I said, well, and I'll actually reference Doc. I said, well, I have a friend who's a researcher and an experienced medical professional, and he was showing us some studies, and that actually it's not true. What you're saying is that your genetics is the one that rules them all, like the king of. Well, anyway, I'm thinking about a movie that I just watched, but it's not so, and that's very important for people to understand that they actually have control over their health.
You're saying 74, 73%. So a good 3/4 of your health has to do with what you do,
Your
and
choices.
your genetics. Yeah. That's
Wow.
amazing. Yeah,
It is.
and that's a lot different than what people. I think maybe the common idea is that, and you kind of mentioned this earlier. So that I have bad health. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm going to die anyway, so nothing I can do about it. But that this research that you just suggested, you can do a lot.
You can absolutely do a lot, and you can do a lot depending. And many people might think, well, I'm just too old for this.
Right.
And in fact, there are a number of studies showing that healthy living has an effect on your longevity, even if you're 85 years old. And a number of studies start at 70, and it's very significant as to whether the way you lead your life.
So it's never too late.
Well, it's too late after you've already had an event.
Right.
Because when you have a heart attack, a cancer, or a stroke, you have some tissue die that gives you a disability, and they can partially rehabilitate that, but they can't have you grow new tissue that's been destroyed. So you want to start before you get to that point.
Amazing. So what do you recommend as far as activity for families, for regular folk? What is recommendations from you, your experience? And
Well, there's a number of studies, and the fact is that the more active you are, the greater benefits you have.
you mean like playing golf?
Well, I can't find any studies that show that playing golf has any effect on healthy living.
Well, that's the excuse everybody always gives me. I had dating somebody that's like, I got to go because I'm going to go play golf with the guys. It's a healthy thing. It's like, I think they were smoking cigars and drinking beer on the golf course. I don't know. But
Well, the only study that I found was that there were 146 over a 5-year period. One study showed there were 146,000 golf cart accidents.
Wow. It's dangerous.
that's anti-healthy. Oh,
But no, there was a study called the National Nurses Health Study, and they looked at 73,000 nurses, and they did it very well because what they looked at was nurses and how long they worked and walked, and then they put them on a treadmill and said, "Show us how fast you're going."
Mm-hmm.
And nurses that were going 3 miles an hour or over, and they did it for at least 2.5 hours a week, had a 40% less chance of having a heart attack over the duration of the study. If you were going less than that, you didn't. So neighbors that kind of walk along, looking at the flowers and talking to the other neighbors for their exercise are getting out, and they're burning calories, but they probably don't have any benefit cardiac-wise.
Sure.
so the exercise has to be more rigorous.
Everything in life reaches a minimum standard before it becomes effective.
So it's good to get out and walk and to do things, but there needs to be a little bit of a rise in the heart rate. I mean, your heart needs to work a little bit. We don't want it to
Sure.
work overwork. Don't want to induce heart attacks for people or whatever. But we definitely want a little bit of increase. It needs to be
You have
somewhat
to
of a
condition
challenge.
your heart
Sure.
to.
Well, the whole idea goes back to the molecules, and that is the fact that, you know what, our relatives were hunter-gatherers,
Right.
and if the ones that survived traveled further and killed more game, okay? And they also had to get back to the camp before nightfall.
Why is that?
Because we're the least fatal of all the predators in the world. We don't have fangs and claws, and we're not tough. What we do is we stand up and we throw rocks and spears, which means the other animals can't get to us. So they needed to get back. So in order to survive, if running and traveling caused you to have more aging molecules, you'd die sooner. So what our body does is compensate for every negative thing with positive things to keep you alive. So what it does is, as you produce sparks that cause you to age, it produces more anti-aging molecules. So a person then has their body built up for first responders to come and put out the sparks before they do damage. So you want to produce more first responders, do more exercise.
You mean our cells, our natural killers, our immune response, or is this, or what
No.
cells are they?
Our cells in our whole body stay alive. We have approximately 30 trillion cells, they estimate, and they all stay alive by these chemical fires. So each one of the cells has hundreds, if not thousands, of these reactions going on just to stay alive. And it produces the sparks we're talking about. And so what we need to do is have our cells producing anti-aging molecules at the same time.
Like training new soldiers in the army.
Oh,
Right, forming an
it
army.
trains your
Yeah.
cells to go ahead and respond with things that can hurt you.
So a little bit of
activity.
stress. Yeah, a little bit of stress makes your body respond better to
Right.
stress. And
Like
it
our
becomes,
immune system.
Yeah, so we talk about downward spirals, but there's also kind of, I guess, upward spirals, right? I
right.
mean, the more the
Stimulus, I guess.
then your body creates better reactions, and then you're able to react to stressors better. So you get more and more healthy in general.
And that's the same recommendations that American Heart Association and the CDCs have. They say vigorous exercise is what they recommend. They recommend just moving. And for the same reasons. It's a good way to prevent any issues with your health. You got to train your heart to, I guess, take the, how would you say, Doc? You have to train your heart is what it is.
Well, the secret of life is how much is enough. And the secret of death is how much is too much. And there is no benefit in some studies that show that if you go above 3 miles an hour, but then you go 6 miles an hour or over, there's no additional benefit. Once you reach the threshold, there isn't benefit. And also, you need to know about the timing. And there's a Harvard alumni study that looked at 13,000 Harvard alumni. And what they found was that you needed to do about 2.5 hours of moderate exercise a week in order to achieve the benefits as well.
Wow. I'm just not getting that much. All right. Well, we are going to go to break, and you're listening to the Extension Hour here on Lone Star Community Radio.
Extension Hour on irlonestar.com.
We're starting to film our talk shows and putting them on YouTube. Your favorite Lone Star Community Radio show can be seen on YouTube under our Lone Star Community Radio channel and on City of Conroe's Our City TV channel on Suddenlink Channel 12. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to see the most recently released videos and find more information online at irlonestar.com/TV.
You're listening to the Extension Hour with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension. Visit us online at montgomery.agrilife.org.
Howdy, and welcome back to the Extension Hour. This is Yvonne Welther, your host today for the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Hour. And we are here in the studio with Amy Ressler, your county extension agent, and Dr. Jim Jones.
Yay!
Our Superman. I like to call you Superman. And we were talking about health literacy and all these other things. Now, I guess overall, Doc, you would say it's we have to mind our diet, mind our health, our actions. It's really what it comes down to is...
Well, I think people overall can live better if they can look at and say, why do I believe what I believe? All right? Mm-hmm. And when they do that, they say, well, this doesn't make any sense if I don't do things that are right for my body. It just doesn't make... I don't mistreat my jewelry. I don't mistreat my car. And you don't mistreat things unless there's something wrong with you. And your body's the most important thing you have.
Right.
So you need to be careful about taking care of it.
Yeah, and you had given a really good analogy the other day. You want the one about the $1 billion home and the man, what was that again?
Mm-hmm.
How I believe you had said if you ask the owner of the biggest, most expensive house in the world about, if you ask him about how much what he values more is his house or himself, what will he say?
Well, I believe it's universal that if you said to someone, well, would you give up one of your 2 BMWs if you had a terminal illness or a loved one had a terminal illness and it would cost that to get them cured? Or, if you've got 2 houses, would you give up one in order to get a cure? And without a doubt, everybody would say, I would give up both houses and all the money I could borrow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So don't compromise yourself. You're all you've got. I don't remember who I'm quoting, but I just remember that from somewhere.
Yep.
I
You only
read.
get one body.
Yeah, that's right. So take care of it, folks. Don't forget healthy diet, healthy living. We are here for the community. If you have any questions, please call us at 936-539-7825. And you may have, if you have any questions, Amy Ressler is our county extension agent and health expert extraordinaire. We got cooking classes, we got health classes. We're here for you. And also, Dr. Jim Jones, would you like to offer our community a way to contact you? Or
Yes, I have a website that is docjimjones213 at gmail.com. And I would be glad to answer any questions that I'm capable of answering. I have I have an email address at that. And then I have Dr. Jim's Health Tips .com as a website in which we put up blogs, and you can read a good bit about other things. And I have a book that's recently published called Live Better While You Age. And what I do is have more extensive information about just what we've been talking about to try and help you.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit, what is in your book?
Well, my book essentially has 3 parts, and it has 16 chapters. And it starts off with the aging body, and then it talks about how we age, and then it talks about how to maximize your medical care when you need it, in the 3rd section. So any of those things that you need, I try and summarize it. There's opinion and there's knowledge. And opinion is without data, and it changes and it varies between experts. Knowledge has data, and you say, I can believe that. And I've got over 200 different references that make up the gist of this book. As we've just mentioned, I say study after study.
Sure.
It's not my opinion. It's reporting on what science says.
And let me tell you, that might be the next subject of the next show we could talk about, is where people form their opinions, where their sources are for information. And that's something big that's we see more and more of in the field is people read something on the internet because it must be true, and they follow something that they learned, and they get themselves into some trouble, medical
Makes
trouble.
sense.
Health issues. So I guess we've already outlined what we're going to talk about next time.
Dr. Jones, so what's the name of the website again?
Is Dr. Jim's, DRJIMS, healthtips.com.
Okay, and how do I get a hold of you guys again?
Our number at the office is 936-539-7825, and you can talk to Amy Ressler or
Yvonne Welther.
yes.
Oh, but before we go, can you tell us one more time, what is the secret to life?
Secret to life is how much is enough.
And that sounds good to me.
It does.
Yes. Moderation. Take life in moderation.
Yeah.
So
How much is enough? And the secret to death is
How much is too much?
There you
I was making rounds with, when I was a medical student, and with a lady professor, and I would always be one of the first to answer questions. I was an honor student, and I was always the first to answer questions. And one day I was distracted, and so I kind of stood off to the back, and she said, "Jones, how come you're not answering questions today?" And I said, "Sir, madam, I'm considering the secret of life." She said, "Come to my office." She was joking, of course.
That's what she told you? She told you the secret of life?
whoa, that sounds like a whole other topic.
Yes.
Next time.
We got
What did you learn in that
month.
office?
That's right. Oh, my goodness. Well, it's been a pleasure, Dr. Jones, to have you visit with us and talk with us some about living better as we age. And if you have any questions, again, feel free to call us or contact Dr. Jim Jones. Or if you're interested in classes, we could work together, definitely.
Yeah.
But do not hesitate to ask questions. There's no dumb questions, especially in regards to your health. If we don't know or we can't help you immediately because it's out of our, how would you say, out of our reach or scope,
Yeah.
we can help you with directing you the taking you to the right direction,
Yeah,
or
we know
pointing you the
people.
right direction. We know people who know people who know people.
That's
So,
right.
That's right. Anything else you'd like to add to that? Well, how about some salutations to Mrs. Jones?
Okay. Well, I think she's at some kind of a meeting. She won't hear this, but we're all better off with our better halves, and I frequently, we've been a team, and everything that I've done, it's primarily with her and with her encouragement.
It's who you're with, isn't it? Oh, that's so cute.
Oh.
Love that. All right. You got a lot of points for that. All right, folks. Well, we will be here next week please join us for the Extension Hour at 1:00, where we will be.
I think next week's Good Friday.
Actually.
Yeah,
Next week
yeah.
is Good Friday.
But
We will be
having
pre-recorded.
But every other Friday at 1 p.m.
That's right.
right
You can
here on
join
Lone
us.
Star Community Radio.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for checking out this recording from Lone Star Community Radio. Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station and broadcasted live from Conroe, Texas on irlonestar.com and Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1. Interested in sponsoring this show, being a guest, hosting your own show? And please visit us online at irlonestar.com and check out the Contact Us page. We want to say thank you to our studio supporters. Our traffic sponsor, Conroe Americana Music Festival at conroeamericanamusicfestival.com. For more information about the show, please check out the information below in the description.